I mean, there were definitely a lot of things going on at that period of time. I would actually put it all the way back to 1993, because that's the period where China really starts to change its military strategy. So this is after Deng Xiaoping, after the end of the Cold War. 93, a lot of things are happening across the Taiwan Strait is starting to heat up. The Soviet Union is done, and so they can kind of shift their attention to Taiwan. And also the Gulf War happened, which showed them that the character of war had fundamentally changed to integrated joint operations fueled by new technologies. And so they figured, well, we really have to get our act together. We don't want to be the next Saddam, right? We don't want the U.S. to come in and interfere in our internal affairs. And so that really set them on this trajectory. There were other things that happened as well. So if you go to 95, 96, the U.S., we intervened in the Taiwan Strait crisis, and that was really a wake-up call that we were really willing to do that. And then in 1999, you had the accidental bombing by NATO of China's embassy in Belgrade, which was also a huge shock and wake-up call to their system that, wow, we really have a hostile adversary we have to prepare for war against. So that was part of it, as sort of the security environment's changing, but it's also China is getting stronger, they're getting richer, and so they can now afford this huge military buildup based on technology they were bringing in a lot of cases from the West, but also military technology they were getting from the Russians. So they could resource a military buildup in support of their new strategy, which asked them to be able to deter Taiwan independence and also to deter U.S. intervention on behalf of Taiwan, while also achieving other goals that they had in the region and globally initially as well. And so that's the kind of the final thing, is that the 2000s, this was a period where China's interests were increasingly global. And Hu Jintao, he was the boss at the time, he gave the PLA these so-called new historic missions, including protecting China's overseas sea lines of communication all the way out through the Indian Ocean and beyond. And so the PLA has to be more expeditionary at this period as well. And so you have both the animus and also the opportunity, even before Xi Jinping gets on the scene in 2012, for a much larger and more ambitious military buildup in China.